Hi guys, welcome to Jay's Piece of Cake with me, Jules, where we talk about all things baking, caking, and chefpreneurship. Today we are going to have another caking tutorial, and that is how to make a very easy PIKACHU topper. To know more about edible art, hit that subscribe button, of course. Okay, so in here we are preparing all the fondant colors that we need today. Okay, so we are going to make Pikachu. So as you can see, I have printed out the cake topper that I want. So that is the dimension that I want. So I will be making it for a 6-inch diameter cake, wherein Pikachu will be about 6 inches in height, along with Pikachu's ears. Okay, and about 4 inches wide. So for the first part, I have prepared a round styrofoam ball and I have adjusted its size to make it the same as Pikachu's head. Also, I cut a small part of the styrofoam ball as well for Pikachu's mouth, so it will look like 3D. Okay, so as you can see in here, I'm already covering it with my yellow flattened fondant. Okay, and then I will just cut out the excess, and then I will go ahead and press it down so the fondant will actually flatten out and the seams won't be seen that much. Okay, so I already have my Pikachu head, and we go ahead and do the body of Pikachu. So as you can see in here, I also made another ball, yellow ball, and then from my printed out, I will be shaping it accordingly just to get the right proportions. So every time you go ahead and create a cake topper made from fondant, if you want it 3D, I would really suggest that you go ahead and print out the measurements that you want, so that once you try to copy it, you can actually have the same proportions or similar ones that you want. So you can actually have a good representation of what you're doing, and also based on the printed out. Okay, so as you can see in there, I'm already flattening it out, trying to make good adjustments so it will actually look like Pikachu. And afterwards, we'll be making Pikachu's hands. But now I also have to check it once in a while if it really looks like, like the same measurements that Pikachu has from the paper. Okay, so now is the hands that I'm making. So I am making a big sausage, but the other end is actually thinner than the other, because as you will notice, Pikachu's arms are actually kind of big. Okay, and then afterwards, you go ahead and flatten out the thin end of the arm of Pikachu, and then you go ahead and use your X-Acto knife to make small triangles to make it look like Pikachu's fingers, because as you will notice, I actually didn't realize that Pikachu's fingers are that small. It's really cute. Okay, so you really have to make these small adjustments. You really need to make it look like as if Pikachu has fingers. Okay, so also in there, I'm just checking it out if it looks proportioned enough. And then I am actually adjusting it further that it will look like Pikachu's hands. Okay, and later on, you will see me how I'll be gluing it all together. Because for my fondant cake toppers, they're usually huge, because that is my signature cake design. I like my characters to be emphasized. Thus, if I have a 6-inch cake diameter, I want my topper to be about like 4 or 5 inch tall and 3 to 4 inches wide, because that is actually what I want to show to my clients. And usually my clients actually want big toppers. Okay, so in here, next we are making Pikachu's feet, and they are pretty easy to make. Just make fondant balls, make it like an oblong, and then flatten it out, and then add your indentations to make it seem as Pikachu's feet, together with your cake decorating tool. All right. So please don't forget to follow me also from my other social media accounts, from Instagram to TikTok and also Facebook. Alright, so next up is we are going to make Pikachu's ears. So as you can see in there, Pikachu's ears are actually two-toned. We have yellow and black fondant that we will be using. Okay, so what I did in here is I also made it a point to shape it like the ones I have on my printed paper. And then I made it a sausage. And also for my black fondant, I made a cone. Because as you can see, the top part of Pikachu's ears are actually sharp, kind of sharp. So that's what I did and made a diagonal cut, and then I glued it all together. Okay, and also you have to press it once in a while to make it really look as if it's just one piece, right? Okay. So comment down below, guys, like which character of Pokemon that you want to make. Maybe we could do it in the future. Or you can also go ahead and share your Pikachu toppers and let us actually celebrate all the toppers that we are making. Because, you know, cake decorating is pretty hard when it comes to making 3D characters. Not just 3D, but also like 2D if you really want it to be the same as your character. It's really hard to achieve that, and it really takes a lot of practice, right? So I'm actually on my 10th year of making cakes. Okay, so in here, as you can see, I am already putting Pikachu's ears. And one technique that I use so that my fondant, my molded fondant won't be destroyed is I make it a point that I put skewers in my topper first, and then I go ahead and also pierce through the fondant part that I am making, just like so, but using like doing a circular motion like you are using your screwdriver, right? Because it will actually not dilapidate the shape of your topper, your fondant part, and just be careful that you won't be piercing through the fondant part that you are currently making, like so. Okay, and also I hardly use toothpicks because my cake toppers are huge, so I usually make it a point to use barbecue sticks instead, but I cut it smaller, of course. So now we go ahead and make Pikachu's cheeks. So this is actually red with a little bit of yellow, just to cancel out the super reddish tone of the red fondant that we have. Because as you can see, Pikachu's cheeks are actually, from my picture, they're not actually that red. Okay, and also one tip is when you are preparing Pikachu's cheeks, make it a point that it is one size smaller than the ones that you see from your design inspiration, because you will still go ahead and flatten it out with your ball tool. So it means that it will still be bigger once you use your ball tool in there. Okay, so now we are going to make Pikachu's mouth. So from Pikachu's mouth, I also used two tones of red, though the other one is actually more on the nude side. So I added white and also yellow in there. Okay, so that is from the cutout from the styrofoam ball that I made earlier. It's for the mouth. Okay, so just go ahead and cut it like the shape of the mouth, so it's a like sort of a triangle, inverted triangle, but with a flat bottom part. And go ahead and use your ball tool to flatten it out further, and you can go ahead and make more adjustments if you're not happy with it, just like me. Later on in this video you will see me like adding more, because it just seems to me that I need some more adjustments in my Pikachu topper. Okay, so that lighter shade of red is actually Pikachu's tongue, and then the darker red will be like the inner mouth of Pikachu. Okay. Let me know, guys, also like which Pokemon topper is your favorite and which Pokemon topper have you tried making so far. Go ahead and show us because it's really fun, sharing and making 3D characters like this. Okay, so next up is we are going to make Pikachu's mouth. So in here, I actually forgot to put it during the first part of assembling Pikachu's head, because what you can actually do in here is to make it cleaner is you can put this yellow sausage that I made inside before you actually cover the yellow fondant of Pikachu's head. That way it will look like it's one piece only. But in my case, you can also do this, in case you forgot, like me, you can go ahead and do this instead because it still looks cute, right? Okay, and then I will also add a lining for Pikachu's mouth, just so it will look like, like 3D as well. It will have depth in it. Okay, and make some minor adjustments that you would like to have. Okay. All right. So you have to glue it using your edible glue. And you have to make it look as if it's an unpeeled banana. You get what I mean? Like the end of the banana when you're finished. It looks like that. Okay, so afterwards, you can go ahead and put your Pikachu nose. So from what I remember, I actually did another Pokemon character, which is Charmander. I did a 3D Charmander before. Years ago, actually, I can't remember. Maybe like it's about 2015, I think. I'll show you. It's actually here. I found it earlier. Okay, so there. So next up is we are going to make Pikachu's eyes. So Pikachu's eyes are actually like the ones from the anime cartoons, right? Because I can remember way back when I was in high school, I could see my other classmates drawing their anime characters with big sparkly eyes. Yeah, so this reminds me of that. But this one is actually a more simplified version of it. The others, what I see, they're really huge, and then there are more white circles inside the eyes. So this is actually a simplified version of that. But it still looks cute because this is what I have. But in case that I wanted to make it more, like cutesy, then I will add more sparkling eyes. Okay, so now I am going back to the Pikachu's mouth because I'm still not happy with it. So I just added a little more of Pikachu's tongue. And then I will add the outline, the yellow outline afterwards. In there. So for me, it already looks like more Pikachu-ish. Right? So you can go ahead and make some more adjustments. Like if you're not happy, you can go ahead and experiment on it, which will look more realistic than the other, right? Okay, so there is always some room for improvement, of course. So next up is the outline of Pikachu's mouth. Again, you could actually do this like when you wanted to, have a 3D effect. You can go ahead and add this before you cover your Pikachu head with the yellow fondant. But in my case, I'm doing this technique instead. Okay, so now I am more happy and I can already move on. Okay. And then usually, like when I'm done making the head, I make it a point that I get my picture and lay it side by side just to see that I'm on the right track, of course. So next up is we are going to make Pikachu's tail. So this is the last part. Okay, so one technique that I want to share is that whenever you are molding like these kinds of fondant cutouts, or you are making like sharp edges like cubes or tiles, or your letterings, I would suggest that you can go ahead and flatten out a thin fondant and then let it rest for about like 5 hours or so, or better yet 24 hours, a day ahead, so that it will really be dry out. It will really be dry and you won't have a hard time trying to make the sharp edges like so. As you can see from the first part of the tail, I've shown you like a thunder tail that I made with fresh fondant. So I disregarded it and I realized that I have to let it rest for a couple of hours before I can actually start to use my X-Acto knife on it again. Okay. So this is where you can achieve perfect sharp edges by letting your fondant rest. With my fondant, of course, I really love this. This marshmallow fondant has been developed by me through the years. Like I had a basic fondant marshmallow recipe that I got, and then afterwards I tweaked it, you know, like through the years, because I don't know, maybe because the marshmallow quality is also different. Like years ago, the marshmallow brand that I'm using, it's already different than now. So I have to make adjustments again with my recipe. And then now I actually love it because it's really pliable and it really tastes good than the commercial bought ones. Okay, so in here I'm already done making my Pikachu tail. I have a barbecue inserted in between two fondant cutouts so that it will look like one and it will look clean. Okay, so now I'm just showing you actually how to make a Pokemon ball. So this is an added tutorial in this video because I also want to show you how to make a really clean Pokemon ball using styrofoam ball, and also a normal technique using fondant. In this first technique, we are using styrofoam ball with a diameter of 3 inches. I think this is the same as Pikachu's head. 3 inches in diameter. Okay, and then afterwards, what you can do, this is fresh fondant, guys. I did not let it rest because I have to make sure that it is pliable and soft, as you can see. Because if you are going to use it with hardened fondant, you won't get like a good appearance. It will have elephant skin. So this has to be fresh as possible. Okay, and then you go ahead and use your cutter to cut there the edges, and then afterwards we will be flattening it out the white fondant, and then we will be covering it on the other side to make the Pokemon ball. Also, I have made a skewer. I skewered a barbecue stick there just to make sure that it won't fall off while preparing my other color. Okay, so this is my white part. Okay, so this is fresh fondant, guys. But in case you have a fondant that you already made ahead of time, just go ahead and heat it using the microwave about 5 seconds or 8 seconds, but not 10, because it will actually melt already. It will be too soft. 5 to 8 seconds is actually good. Okay, so now we can go ahead and cover the other part, the other side of the Pokemon ball. Okay, and then just repeat what you did earlier. Okay, so this one you can actually make Pokemon balls using like the big ones. I would really suggest that you use styrofoam balls, but in case you wanted to be all edible, I think the perfect shape that will still retain its round shape is up until like 1 inch only. not sure with 1.5-inch diameter because, like it's heavy already and the bottom part will flatten. So that is the usual problem that I encounter whenever I make, like fondant balls. So in here, I also, I have in my inventory styrofoam balls ready with me just so in case that I need them. So you just go ahead and check out your local cake decorating supply shop wherever you live. And I think you really need to keep, like 0.5-inch balls, 1.5, 1.5, 2, up until 4 inches for your cake decorating needs because it really comes in handy. Okay, so now we are going to make the black strip that will be used to surround the Pokemon ball in the middle. Okay. So also one technique to have really sharp edges is that you always need a good refill of your blades, of your X-Acto blades and also your cutter blades. You need to have, like extras, a lot of extras, because in every cake decorating project that you will be making, you really need to have a sharp edge of your cutting tools, of course. So now we are already gluing it and surrounding it with the black strip, and afterwards we are going to make the button. I think this is where the character is inside, right? Like, I don't know because I don't watch Pokemon, but from the cartoons that I watched, like every time the boy main character shouts it, like a character comes outside, right? Please let me know by commenting down below if it's true, because I'm not familiar with this. Although when I was a kid, I could still remember my brother playing it using his Nintendo, and I think that was about like the early 2000s, because I know that is when Pokemon, like gave birth. This is younger than Mario, of course, because Mario Brothers is old school already. Okay. So in here we are almost done with the Pokemon ball that is big, and I'm going to show you on the next part is the small Pokemon ball, because in my design, this cake design is actually Pokemon, two Pokemon balls, one big and one small, which the celebrant is actually holding, and then there is Pikachu. And then there are stars. Okay, so that is actually my design. The design is actually from the client, and then she just wants me to replicate it. So I made something like that as well. So in here, I am showing you a small Pokemon ball. This is about 1/4 of an inch, I think. So in here, you can actually make it round. So you will have perfect round shape. But just what I said earlier, if you wanted to make it bigger, then you will have a hard time trying to make it really round, because it will really tend to be flat at the bottom. So in here, since I don't have a small styrofoam ball and it's pretty easy to make, then I just go ahead and make a all fondant Pokemon ball, and I'm here showing you how it looks like so that you can go ahead and compare. And in case you just need small Pokemon balls, you can do this technique. Okay. There. So you just do it all over again, just like what we did earlier. Okay. So let me know, guys, if you have any questions about, like fondant troubleshooting or any other characters that you want me to do. I actually want to make a cake topper tutorial that is Hello Kitty themed, like a 3D Hello Kitty, because to be honest, I'm having a hard time trying to make it look like Hello Kitty. There is something with Hello Kitty's head shape that is quite hard to make. Like from what I usually observe, like from the other big shops, they don't actually make it look like a perfect Hello Kitty. Just make it using with their own flair. Okay, so in here we already finished assembling Pikachu's head and also arms and feet. And before I put Pikachu's tail, I pierce a skewer first before I actually skewer the tail itself, because I don't want the tail to be destroyed with my force, of course. So there. And then also I am not happy with Pikachu's right left arm. So in here I'm showing you I've melted a fondant for 15 seconds, and then I'm using it as a glue to glue the arm and also Pikachu's head. So you can see, using my barbecue skewer, I'm just adding a little fondant. So it has to be the same color so it won't look off. And then you have to press it for just a couple of seconds. And for it to dry out and it won't fall off, you can go ahead and put a barbecue stick in it. There. So there. So that is what I did. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you did, or let me know, or suggest other things that you want me to do for you. Thank you guys. So this is the finished product. This is for Caleb's 8th birthday, ordered from our PIKACHU Cakes Bake Shop.